Alright, we are back on gaming. You know, it has been a hell of a morning. I don't know what's been going on Twitter. It's like the Wild West right now over there. I mean, you're waking up and people are yelling at you. It gets to the point where you're just like, hey, you know what I mean? That's all you can do. Like you can't take it seriously at this point. And it's not just me. I'm just looking on my timeline and I'm seeing everyone arguing. I'm just like, what the hell's going on? Let's just get the gaming, shall we? Shall we do that? I mean, it's just okay. Let's just get the gaming. So, let's start off. Steam. That's right. For those that don't know, people, Jesus Christ, I guess this is SJW stuff. I guess we can label this. Steam updates review system and will ban developers who inflate their review score. So, Brianna Wu, I think it's time to stop. Yep, I think it's time to stop. You know, because seriously, if developers are going to do, first off, you shouldn't have to inflate your review score. Developers, if you make a solid game, you make a great game, there is no reason you need to pull these antics. If your crowd likes it, if it gets greenlit and the crowd likes it, gamers like it, they will promote it. You should know by now, if you're a gamer, developers, you know how word of mouth goes. You know this, all right? So for you to go and do something like that, since they have to take these measures because you're doing something like that, clearly you don't have faith in your product. You just don't. And it's sad because we have seen this time and time again. We just saw with Rock Band 4 not too long ago, where they did it, they illegally did it on Amazon. They got caught doing it. We've seen other, developers do it on Metacritic and things of that nature. Just stop. Stop. I understand it's a business. I understand you want to make money. I understand you want people to see your product, but you were going the wrong way about it. And it screams desperation. And the fact that Steam would have to do something like that it's a telling of the times, people. It really is, especially when it comes to developers. That's why I say you can't trust publishers that much. Take it game-by-game basis. At this point, you can't trust developers at this point. Take it game-by-game basis. Of course, you're going to have your developers that you are favorites of and you love, but it doesn't mean that they're always perfect. You and I know this. No game is perfect. So, I don't know. Let's move on. Speaking of not perfect games, and this will probably be the part where I talk about Pokemon Go, but I won't be talking about Pokemon Go this week. That's right. Apparently there's a new game out that's like Pokemon Go, but as aimed for the horror genre. Now, of course, we talked about one coming out soon on Halloween. There's one coming out where it's almost like Fatal Frame, where you can catch the ghosts and everything like that on your phone, augmented reality. However, this one is already out. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about Zombie Go. Now, this is really interesting because I checked it out and everything, Zombie Go. And it plays just like Pokemon Go, where you're just walking around, augmented reality, and the zombies pop up on your screen. Instead of catching the Pokemon with Pokeballs, you actually shoot the zombies in the face with a shotgun. So, yeah, that's the clue, right? But the zombies, they do come in augmented reality. Here's the thing. Pokemon Go has you go outside and walk around and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, in Zombie Go, you can do the same thing. You can go outside, you can walk around, like I said, augmented reality. However, you don't have to go outside and walk around if you don't want to. You can sit on your couch and wait for the zombies to come to you in augmented reality if you wanted to. Yeah, that's the thing about it. They don't actually make you get up and go anywhere. But I put it like this. What's the fun in that? Right? Who just wants to sit on their couch and wait for zombies to come to them so you can just shoot them? No, go outside and go shoot a bunch of zombies, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? So, that's the newest Go, app that we've seen. Now, a number of you had said to me on Twitter not too long ago that they need to come out with a Monster Hunter Go. And I said, that's interesting because I would like to see how they would try and pull that off. But for those who don't know, however, over on Reddit, they've already begun to Photoshop this what actually Monster Hunter Go would look like if you played it. Now, while that is just a simple mock-up, of course, I would like to say that I don't think that, I guess you can see it as just simply catching the monsters, because Monster Hunter has a number of species, more than enough species, that you could make a Go game from it and just catch them and collect them, just like Pokemon. However, seeing as though, if you've ever played Monster Hunter, I think it would be more of, you have this small little battle, and then you get your carves. That's right, and you'd have to keep catching or carve them in order to get specific suits of armor. So not only and that would be my idea, not only would you, get to see the monster, you know what I mean, in that case, where you would catch the monster, but I think if anything, it would be to collect armor and weapons. That would be the trophy instead of collecting the actual monster. Or you could do both. Either way. I would love to see if they would do something like this, and what I mean by that is Capcom. We'll talk about Capcom later, because I got a beef with them this week, okay? But, like I said, it's really interesting that people are making these mock-ups already of this type of game. So, we'll see what the future holds, okay? Now, let's move on. And like I said, Monster Hunter fans, I would love to hear what you have to say about that. Let's move on to fighting games, shall we? Yes, let's move on. Now, over the weekend, for those who don't know, BlazBlue Central Fiction digital PS4 pre-orders include the demo in Japan. Over the weekend, we saw a number of people downloading this really quickly, trying to get the demo so they can play it and see how everything is. It seems like everyone is really enjoying this demo so far to what we've seen. Some people are saying there's certain characters that are already broken, and that's all I can say. It's a demo. Just remember that. It's a demo. It doesn't mean it's going to be that way in the finished product, but it is a demo. It does represent what it wants you to, what it wants to be. And also, remember, demos are to try and entice you to buy the game. So if the demo doesn't sell you, then the game is not going to sell you. It's that simple, okay? You can't keep saying, wait for a finished product. It is a demo. This is pretty much what it's going to be. Of course, as we know with fighting games, they'll make the little updates and little, tweaks here and there. We know that, okay? But understand that always, and it's always been that way, demos are supposed to sell you before the full product comes out. Always, okay? So, can we really put that to rest? It's been a couple years where people say that, oh, it's only a demo, wait for the full product. No, the demo is supposed to be, what gets you excited. It's supposed to be. But we will move on from there. We need to talk more about rage quitting. That's right, and I'm talking about King of Fighters. Again, I don't understand. Last week we had a very healthy conversation about rage quitting, especially you guys and girls in the comment section. I feel as though this is something that still isn't being addressed. However, what happened last week was hilarious. Because you can't tell me that people are so salty now that they're trying to rage quit, but they get beat before they can try to rage quit.
4, ready, go!
So as you can see, too late to rage quit, and as some of you had said last week in the comment section, even if a person rage quit and that super is going on, they should be allowed to finish that. It shouldn't just stop the way it is. I agree as well, alright? Because regardless of the person rage quit, it should keep going. That's what you want to see. You want to see, somebody said, you wanted to see how that was going to finish. And I completely agree. But in this case, because the person was too late to rage quit, you got to see the finish, you got to see, the ending victory and opposing the team and everything because they took too long. Now, since this has happened, some of you have contacted me also on Twitter and says SNK is looking into the issue when it comes to rage quit because they're already looking into dealing with rage quitters. So as you can see, hey, SNK is going to investigate the issue, and now that the game is going to look at your online connections, to see if there's any problems. And people who keep rage quitting will be matched up with other rage quitters. So there you have it. And some of you had said in the comment section also that you would like to see a cooldown period for a lot of these people who do rage quit. So pretty much, yeah, that's what it seems like it's going to. It's sad to say because we've addressed this before, but yeah, they need a timeout. Adults need a timeout from playing video games. It's pretty sad. That's what it's come to these days. Kind of sad. But let's move on. Let's talk about other people who were supposed to be adults. That's right. And keep antagonizing you guys and girls. And this is a follow-up from what happened last week. Hip Hop Gamer. That's right. Hipster Shill Gamer. Let's talk about him. Remember, and I want to talk about this because some of you said, let's put this to rest. And I agree. We should put this to rest now due to the fact that now we have proof. Now, we've always talked about how Hipster Shill Gamer was scared to play everyone. Because remember, he was talking all greasy about how you guys and girls are entitled. You're spoiled. How you really can't play video games. And that he can't be beaten in fighting games. And we've heard it all, right? He's got the title. Come see him if you want a shot at the title. We've heard it all. We've heard all the trash talking. But he keeps ducking people. And we said, well, maybe he's just not that good. Because who ducks a charity match? It's a charity match. Who cares, right? You're supposed to be having fun because it's for charity. It's not about you. But he ducked the charity match and tried to make it about himself. And everyone said, we all had this theory that he really couldn't play. That's why he's been ducking everyone. Well, now we have proof. That's right. Apparently, Hipster Shill Gamer went to a convention or something, and he played Anton from Media Molecule. And I would love to say this. This is funny because in this matchup, Hipster Shill Gamer drops the match. And I want you to pay attention how bad he plays, okay? You can't tell me that you keep falling for the same thing over and over. So, without further ado, let's see it.
What? What? No! Did you see that comeback? Come on, Anton, you can do it! I use it. Come on! No! You got this, come on! Don't cheese it out. No!
That passive aggressiveness, because he was salty as fuck at the end. You can tell he was, but he was trying to keep it cool. I can't even say he was being happy about it. He was having fun, because he was really salty. Let's break this down. Fighting game people, you players who are experienced in this, what do you see here? Anybody? Who the hell keeps jumping into DP consistently that way? You didn't learn your lesson? You didn't understand to stop jumping like that? You didn't need to... Look, scrub Shoto tactics. Anton from Media Molecule, at the end of that video, says he's not good. That, this is nothing. So if he's not good, and you lost to him, Hipster Shill Gamer, then you're even worse. Okay? And now we can see exactly why you don't play anybody. You keep falling for this. And look, I have to say this because it seems like people aren't understanding. Alright? From when we talked about this before. Even when this video first, was uploaded. Okay? It doesn't matter if he plays Street Fighter V. It doesn't matter if he plays Street Fighter 2. Matter of fact, it doesn't matter what fighting game he plays. If you haven't realized within that small segment, that's his play style. That's what it is. Anybody who's experienced, alright, who's played fighting games on somewhat of a good level, you should know, even a fair level, I should say, a balanced level, should know you can't keep coming in one way. You're going to keep getting punished. And you didn't learn from that at all. That's what it comes down to. Anybody who has anti-air against this guy can mop the floor with him. Not to mention, if you saw the mix, you can mix this guy up for days if you wanted to. There's a reason he keeps ducking everyone. So he talks and keeps talking and keep talking, but then he produces this type of gameplay. That should tell you something. Yeah. So it's safe to say now that we can cement all of this, and that it's over and done with. It should be over and done with. God forbid, please don't let anything else happen next week. It's over and done with. Because this guy not only is a fraud, and we saw that when he played Rainbow Edition, but the fact, and he didn't even know it was Rainbow Edition, but the fact is, he cannot play. Period. He's not good. He's free. He can be mopped up any time of the week. And for this guy to come out and say, and I told you before, when he sat there and he said, oh, well, come see me because I got the title, he was only showing off for the company that he was with, which is a bitch move. And it goes to show you he's not good. He would not be able to stand up to pretty much anybody in this game. It's absolutely horrible. So from now on, when Hipster Shill Gamer decides he wants to talk about fighting games, because as you know, he's never been in the arcades. It's quite clear he hasn't learned anything from fighting games or even how to play. He didn't adjust his playstyle whatsoever in that time, as you can see, and drop that match. I will put it like this. Every time he talks, every time he calls you spoiled, every time he calls you entitled, every time he gets on someone else's stream and says that fighting games, and he has said this, fighting games don't have a standard. And when he said that, he meant features-wise when it came to training mode, arcade mode, and all this. This guy clearly doesn't play fighting games, okay? Said it doesn't have a standard, all right? Every time he ducks or he decides to open his mouth, this is what you should send him. April, dog. April, that's right. Shots fired. But you ain't hitting anything. Yeah, anyways, let's move on, shall we? I have some Smash news for you, for those who don't know. And before anyone goes off the handle here, understand it's just a mod, okay? A mod adds Sora from Kingdom Hearts to Smash, and Sora plays like Shulk. Just saying, okay? Also, for those who don't know, Smashadelphia 2 went off without a hitch. That's right, on Sunday, my fam was there. Won the first 2 games, got bopped in the third game, went down the loser's bracket, won the next 2 games, and then lost in the third game in losers bracket. So yeah, still overall had a great time. He said he had a great time. It's something he would love to do again. Apparently he's building rapport with the Smash community, the locals here, and apparently every Wednesday they have a Smash night here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look more into it after I get in contact with him and see what's going on. I may go every once in a while, record it so you guys and girls can see what's actually going on here in the local scene. I keep telling you, Philadelphia, since the 80s, I'm going to say mid-80s, has had such a strong local scene here when it comes to video games, especially fighting games. You're going to have your local legends. So every time I come out here and I speak about these type of things, and you hear these clowns on the internet, who are you? Who this? Look, you're not going to know everybody, okay? Let's just call that what it is. Just because somebody played at Evo and you kiss their ass and you think you know who they are and they don't even know your name, doesn't mean that the person who's speaking common sense, because if they're a local legend or whatever, regional or whatever, it doesn't mean just because you've never heard of them, doesn't mean they're good. The fact is, we have a strong local community here when it comes, I told you before, when it comes to sports, when it comes to video games. This is what people do. Okay? So when I start hearing all these people, oh, well, this guy's from Philly, and it's like, wait a minute, he's not from Philly. He's actually outside of Philly. Because when you talk to the other local legends that's been here, people are like, never heard of him. I don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, because, like I said, you've probably never heard of certain people if you're not in the community when it comes to your state or region. But when it comes to the local community, we all know each other. You know what I mean? Even some New Jacks probably don't know the local legends. It's like, okay, you don't know them, but you gotta give them respect, because that's how it works. You paved the way. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. That's why I keep telling you, the new school, the rules of the old school are still there. All right? They've been tinkered and tailored with a little bit, but fine. Okay, fine. But the new school, I feel, has a little bit more leniency when it comes to the FGC. Because a lot of these antics that we see, of course, you can see them on YouTube, whatever. Like I said, a lot of them, they would have been thrown out. They would have been. But when I say that, people get mad at me for saying it. No, I'm just telling you how it was back then. And as you can see, as of late, the companies are starting to bring that back. Oh, you want to sexually harass women? Get thrown out. You know what I mean? Like, you want to fight? Get thrown out. You want to start cursing up and acting a fool? Get thrown out. You are seeing these things happen now. And you can't tell me that I have not talked about this for years upon years. So, there's that. Also, and more fighting game news, okay? Last bit of news, actually. Dragon Ball Z, if you want to call this fighting game news, Dragon Ball Z and One Piece games will let you play with each other in crossover. So if you have both games, if you have Dragon Ball Z or whatever, or One Piece, they're going to let you play locally, against each other, or you can play each other online. As long as you have, whatever title, that the developers are going to let you cross over and play each other. So I believe that's really cool as far as I'm concerned. I think more games need to start doing that. Just saying. Anyways, since we were just talking about old school rules, I guess we can talk about old school games. That's right. Our old school game of the week, which I feel deserves a remake. That's right. And I'm talking about in the now. And for those who have not seen this, you probably haven't. Some of you are too young, you probably don't remember this. Some of you have played this game and said, oh my god, I can't believe how this is aged. Yeah, it needs a remake. Or possibly some of you will say, no, we don't need a remake. This is just bad. Anyways, let's take a look at Kaiser Knuckle. With the right mechanics, once again, I feel as though this game could be a hit. But that guy singing, man, that kills me every time. It's hilarious. It goes to show you that, once again, if you go back, you take a step back, and you look at these old games, it's like, okay, you can see the potential these games had during their time. But if you keep looking at their ceiling and see how far they can go, it could be even better. That's why I always do this and say, hey, this could be remade, or, oh, no, this doesn't need to be remade. You know what I mean? You can always see the potential in a game if it's given the right love, the right attention, if you have the right people with the right passion for it. Now let's move on. Let's talk about people with the right passion, which I feel isn't the right passion right now with Capcom. That's right, fucking Capcom! Let me tell you something, okay? Resident Evil 7. Let's talk about this, shall we? Now, I know a lot of you are, very excited for Resident Evil 7. A lot of you played the demo, and then you found out that the game isn't going to be like the demo, and people are disappointed, but they're still somewhat excited, and someone say, look, this game still has promise, right? Okay, so let's look at the business aspect of this, because once again, Capcom, if you're trying to win the fans back over, because remember, you're taking away the action aspect, which fans have been asking, and giving them a horror aspect. You're saying, though, you want to make a certain amount of units. Of course, you want to sell a certain amount of units. So, you want to do it right this time. You want to do it at least once right by the fans so that this is, successful, right? Capcom, why do you have pre-order bonuses? In-game items, okay? DLC, all right? And you have these, but they're at each separate retailer for what we're hearing so far. So you can only get certain items at certain retailers. Why are you doing this? Why are you splitting this up? You did this before. We just talked about this with Dead Rising. And it's absolutely horrible. See, this is bad DLC, bad pre-ordering. When you are splitting up the game or in-game items to certain retailers. So if everybody wants this stuff, they're going to have to get it from every retailer. Unless, I guess they'll have to wait and purchase it digitally, huh? Unless we find out later that all this stuff is in-game and you just got to work for it. You just got to grind for it. But right now, what we're hearing so far is that the pre-order bonuses will be separated to each retailer. You haven't learned your lesson, have you? Absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. But speaking of Resident Evil, all right, or should I say somewhat Resident Evil, for those who don't know, Daymare 1998 is an original project from the developer of the unofficial Resident Evil 2 remake. The game looks pretty good. I would say give it a chance. For what I've seen so far, it looks pretty good. I say, hey, look, once again, that passion, they're putting it into it. I would say, personally, go ahead and support it. For what I've seen so far, it looks pretty good. I mean, this is something you want to see, right? Now, look, I put it like this. Daymare 1998, of course you should know the date and all that. We're not going to get into that. I mean, it's kind of obvious what's going on here. But, and of course, it's going to probably be along the lines somewhat of Resident Evil for what you see. However, this is what you want. You want people who are going to take care of it. And take care of, should I say you, as in the consumer who has been wanting these type of games. So, you want to support this type of stuff. You know what I mean? Let's move on. And some bad news. I should say bad news. Sad news, okay? Interplay is selling various IPs, including Earthworm Jim and Dark Alliance. That's right. Sad day. That's right. People are, they're selling. Hopefully, we don't have big AAA companies come along and be like, I'm getting this, and, and then pretty much do nothing with it. You know what I mean? As we know, EA is famous for this. Or they'll buy out companies, and kill them. We know how this goes. Anyways, let's move on about companies killing themselves. That's right. Now, we've talked about last week, and I want to, like I said, I want to make sure that y'all know I do read the comment section, all right? Some of you in the comment section said last week, when we talked about Nintendo and cutting down, or should I say DMCAing fan games, some of you said that, Nintendo has the right to do it because it's their IP, and the people who are making these games, they're not being original. They're just trying to make a name for themselves. I see it a different way. I always see it as they're just extreme fans of these games that they've grown up with as kids, and they want to see something better. They know that the fan demand is there for another Metroid or another Zelda or whatever the case may be, and they're just making these games to hold over. That's it. It's not always about recognition and fame. It's about the love of what you do, right? We know that gamers have a lot of passion. So check this out. Sega tells fans to keep making great fan-made games regardless if Nintendo DMCA's them. That's right. Now, it's kind of weird that Sega would say something like this. It's like, okay, Sega, you're trying to get on the fans' side, but we're not going to forget what you did with Shining Force. Okay, Sega? We're not going to forget that. So, as far as I'm concerned, you just can't, tell fans, keep doing it even if you get DMCA'd. I would say if you're passionate about a project and you know it's going to be DMCA'd because the way these companies are acting, especially with Nintendo, you want to go ahead and make it? Go ahead and make it. But try and keep it as underground as much as possible until the final product. Then release it, and and if you need to, make an alternative, where people can download it so that, Nintendo has to always keep on. Always be 10 steps ahead of them if you're going to attempt to do this. If you're announcing that you're going to keep doing this stuff before the finished product, because you notice that's what's been going on. People have been announcing the finished product, and Nintendo just sitting back like, okay. We'll wait for you to finish, whether it takes 10 years or not. And then when that time comes, we're going to DMCA you. That's what's been going on. Just keep it to a low roar for a while until you're finished. Then, you do what you need to do. Get it out there. If you need to already have an alternative of, okay, we have to change the name of the game or we have to change certain things of the game because of, make sure it's out there. But you should know by now, once it's downloaded by somebody, it's on the internet forever. You're going to find it in a torrent somewhere or something. You're always going to find it. You are. Even if, Nintendo tries to DMCA you, you should know these companies are always going to be 10 steps ahead. Behind. So you should, adjust appropriately when it comes to these type of things. Now, let's move on in more sad news. So, The Last Guardian. No, it hasn't been canceled. But it has been delayed until December 6th of 2016. Okay? But even more sadder news, Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, which I showed, on video before, and, the successor to Castlevania, this is looking great, has now been delayed until 2018. Not even next year, 2018. As far as I'm concerned, even though I believe there's a demo out, I would say just let the demo ride. Everybody who has, the Kickstarter or whatever, you funded it, everyone should have a shot at the demo then. If it's going to take that long to come out, by all means, let that demo ride for a very long time. So that it keeps it fresh in their mind. Look, this is what, you have to look forward to. And, the future is looking bright for it. That's all. Also, in more news, I should say this is happy news for those who are fans. Toejam and Earl is coming out with a new game, Back in the Groove, in 2017. That's right. Toejam, so we're having Earthworm Jim fall apart and going, falling apart and going in separate ways. And then we have Toejam and Earl being resurrected. So, we'll see what happens. All right? Also, Hyperlight Drifter's Wii and PS Vita versions, and this is sad news as well, have been canceled. They have offered exchanges or refunds. So a lot of sad news that's going on right now with developers either not meeting their quota or things are being delayed or pushed back or things are dying and they're trying to sell IPs. A lot of bad news this week when it comes to that. It's kind of sad. Also, in some bad news, and this is not bad as in a game has been canceled or exchanges or things of that nature. This is the community error, I should say. This is an error on them. And I find this kind of funny, actually. It's not bad news. It's bad for World of Warcraft players, but it's still funny. World of Warcraft players go looking for secrets, right? So they're just traveling the land. It's kind of weird, but yeah, they're just looking for secrets and accidentally unleash a world-eating boss. Yeah. I think we've seen this in so many movies and so many animations. Oh, we're looking, we're scavenging, and we're researching, and then they unleash this world threat, and it just comes out of nowhere. And you know what? If anything, it's bad news for World of Warcraft players because if they don't get their shit together and get together and and rally against this and fight this thing, it's going to be a problem. Just letting you know. But it seems like it's a good story right now. It's a good storyline. We've seen this time and time again. We'll see where this comes, where this goes. But as far as I'm concerned, anybody who is saying that World of Warcraft is boring or I'm getting tired of it, I'm thinking about quitting, I would say since this has happened, this will probably pique your interest and make you, pick back up that controller or use that mouse and keyboard again and get at it. You know what I mean? We'll see. Also, in news, more news. Koei Tecmo, that's right, announces a new game. That's right, a Dynasty Warriors type game with Musou stars, whereas all these different characters from different IPs in the game, Dynasty Warriors-esque. However, IGN makes the horrible mistake, it begs the question whether they're even paying attention to these games, makes the horrible mistake of comparing this game to Smash Brothers. How do you even mess that up? It's a Dynasty Warriors game, and you're comparing it to Smash with Tecmo characters. It almost makes you ask the question, are the people who are writing these articles or looking into these games, do they even play games themselves? And if they don't play these games themselves, of course they're going to take whatever is a hot game and try and compare it to get you to either buy it or whatever. But you've got to be kidding me that you are comparing a Dynasty Warriors game to Smash Brothers. That's just, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what you call misinformation, okay? IGN, I know a lot of people say you can't spell ignorant without, yeah, I get it, all right? But come on, you have to step your game up. This was one of those things. It was a slow pitch you should have knocked out the park, and you couldn't even do that. But let's move on more about the media, because I'm looking at this on Twitter, and it's archived, so I don't know if you guys and girls really want it, but this is from Kotaku. Oh, didn't we just talk about Kotaku last week? And they just don't know when to stop. So, Overwatch players, I want you to listen very, very carefully at what they're saying, okay? Because this is just, yeah. Overwatch heel sluts, yeah, turn playing support into an erotic experience. Really? This is where we're going now. This is as far as you've got. This is where you go. Oh. I'm not going to read the rest. I'm not. I'll put the archive in the info bar. Yeah, that's how ridiculous that. Okay, we're just going to move on. Let's just move on. Let's just. Yeah, we're not going to touch that one. It's just. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Jesus Christ. All right. Xbox. Let's talk about the Xbox. Your Xbox Live reputation now includes more than negative reports. So, I'll put the link in the info bar for that as well, alright? For those who are interested in their Xbox Live, if you have an Xbox Live account, it's probably best you know these type of things, okay? So, new third-party Xbox One app, that's right, called the Nest Box, lets you play old Nintendo and Sega games. That's right. So, once again, there you go. I'll put that link in the info bar as well. Like I said, there's some information that I said I'm going to skip. Like I said, the whole reputation thing, I'm sure you can read up on that. I want to talk about these other things because it's more important if you ask me. Now, a lot of you, not too long ago, I think we haven't covered it in like a month or so, you talked about how this new Dreamcast, this Project Dreamcast or Dreamcast Reloaded, was going to be a failure. It was going to fail. It was going to die. And I said, you know what? They seem to still want to have passion for this. They want this to happen. It's still, I don't want to give up on it just yet. I want it to have legs. You know what I mean? And apparently, there's some news for it. The Dreamcast Reloaded needs a front-end designer and a programmer. That's right. So, in their petition, they're looking for people to do this. So, it goes to show you they're not giving up. For everyone who wrote them off and said it was fake and all this, as you can see, they're still looking. So, I'll put the link in the info bar if you're interested in helping, if you have those necessary skills that they require. Okay? Also, let's talk about the PS4. That's really what I want to talk about. Last week, we saw Sony come out with the PS4 Slim, right? And everyone's like, okay, PS4 Slim, it's lighter, it's more convenient for people, it's the same thing, but it's just not as big and bulky and everything, and, it's for convenience and massive entertainment, and you should buy the PS4 Slim that comes out in September, right? I believe that's what it was. And then they turn around, okay, and they announce the PS4 Pro that comes out in November, which is damn near twice the size of the Slim. And then they say, well, it has 4K, it gives you all this type of stuff, and you should buy this one simply because it has all these bells and whistles and blah, 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 blah. That's pretty much what they fucking did. That's what they did. So they want you to buy a system now in September that's slimmer, more convenient, only to turn around and buy the bigger, bulkier version, which has all the bells and whistles, come November. Now, of course, when the PS4 Pro comes out, that there's going to be games, and don't tell me it fucking won't, that will be probably exclusive, more likely exclusive to the PS4 Pro, alright? The 4K gaming rig and all this. And here's the thing. They're trying to push 4K, but Sony said themselves that, or at least that's what we're hearing, that it doesn't have a 4K Blu-ray player? How's that possible? You want people to experience 4K, but you're not giving them the Blu-ray module. Okay. That's what we're hearing so far. If that's true, that is fucked up. But we talked about this on stream last week, and once again, I have to bring this up. If you look how far we've come, when it comes out, I'm going to say since 2009 on, that's when it really started. your DLC. Then, your microtransactions. Then, your season passes. And some of you had said in the comment section last week when I talked about Rainbow Six Siege season passes, you had said, a lot of us really wanted another season pass. And, that they're giving us what we wanted. Here's how I feel about the season pass. You should be getting this without a season pass. You shouldn't have to pay for this type of stuff. That's what I'm trying to get at here. When you look at back then, before 2009, you were getting chunks and chunks of DLC. You were getting chunks of content, and you weren't being charged for it because the companies, they knew that you wanted. They knew that they were going to appease to the fans. You knew that you were going to get satisfaction guaranteed, which is why you kept buying the games, which is why you kept playing the games for months, years on end. You didn't need to pay extra, okay? Anyone who remembers Rainbow Six was at Vegas 2, all right? DLC. They didn't fix the machine gun glitch, but they kept giving you DLC, and they kept giving you stuff. And no one complained, because Ubisoft was giving you this stuff and say, okay, we got this stuff, let's be thankful, let's keep supporting this game. And how many years has it been since Rainbow Six Vegas 2 has been out? I still play it online with friends. Because it's a good product, because Ubisoft put their foot in it and said, hey, we're going to give you the experience, aside from the machine gun glitch, aside from the terrorists sometimes being bulletproof. You can get past those things, you know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal. But they still put effort into it, and then they said, we're going to show love to the community by giving you these extra stages and stuff like that. Can't complain. And when they do something like that, that keeps me as a customer for years and years to come. You're talking to a person who's played Rogue Spear. You're talking to on PC all the time. Was it Rainbow Six? You know what I mean? And then going to the console and playing Rainbow Six. Because let's be honest here. When Rainbow Six, when it first came out for the PlayStation 1 and the 64, not that good. But you still supported it because you like Rainbow Six. But of course, back then, PC is where Rainbow Six reigned supreme. You know what I mean? These days, season pass on top of season pass on top of season pass. I just don't feel as though it's necessary. But, like I said, DLC, microtransactions, season passes. Now we have mid-cycle consoles. That's what we have, all right? Mid-cycle consoles. And they're going to keep pushing this out because now they're making you look at these consoles as if they're cell phones. They come out once every 6 months, once every year. That's how they're doing this now. At this point, you should just buy a fucking PC. It's absolutely ridiculous that this is where they're going with it. And as others have said, if you take off the labels from the PS4 and the Xbox when it comes to all this stuff that they're doing, because they're neck and neck, they're doing the same thing, you wouldn't even know what console you're playing. You wouldn't. Seriously, at this point, just get a PC. Why go through this? Why? And there's more. There's more. Sony won't allow mods for Fallout 4 or Skyrim on the PS4. Are you serious? Are you serious? Like, people are saying that the PS3 was allowed it, I believe, mods. And of course, PC, they're going to have the mods. All right? So because a lot of people are saying the PS3 is the superior version. That's what people are saying. But because of the mods. But you're not allowing this? This is absolutely ridiculous. You should know by now. Once again, this is one of those things where you have to appease to your audience. Show them that you care. Show them that you're listening to what they want. Give them the mods. It's not going to ruin the game or damage the reputation of the game. No, because the developers have said, we want to do the mods. Sony is saying no. So this is Sony. This is not the developers or the publishers. No, this is Sony. I don't understand it. It's almost like I said, before, they'll get on stage, they'll talk about how you're family and how they care so much about you, and then, as we've seen as of late, we've seen Sony strike down people's videos simply for talking about No Man's Sky. We've seen Sony now tell you that you can't have mods. We're seeing all these... Come on. Stop falling for the bullshit. Sony has, at this point, as you know, the PS3 era and Xbox 360 era, Sony, they had got a big head about themselves, and then we know what happened with their network. But then they had kind of calmed down because they were behind in the console war race. We knew this, all right? So they didn't have that much of an ego. Now that they're back on top, here we go with this arrogant shit. I don't understand it. I don't. I really don't. But there's more news, because they want you to buy the PS4 Pro or the PS4 Slim or whatever the case, right? But let's just stick with the PS4 Pro, because that's some news for you today. Mass Effect Andromeda to run at 30 frames per second on the PS4 and PS4 Pro. So let me get this straight. All these developers, because mind you, we've been talking about this for about a month or so now. Remember, EA praised the new, hardware that Sony and Microsoft are coming out with. We've seen all these developers, all these, people who make these games, right? These companies come out and praise it because we're giving you more hardware, we're giving you more stuff to work with, and then you turn around and you make Mass Effect 30 frames per second on the newest hardware. Not even out yet, all right? But of course, you've had it in your hand, so you know how to develop for it. You've had it for a while. You're going to sit here and tell me that you're trying to sell, let's call it what it is, new hotness, and you're not, once again, going its full potential. What did we talk about just last week, a couple weeks ago even? The developers have not harnessed what they have already. They can't even get 60 frames per second on the current consoles. Now they're getting bigger consoles with more stuff, and they still can't do it. And yet they want you to buy this. Now, granted, a lot of people will say, well, 30 frames per second for Mass Effect, that's not really a problem. It's a problem when all you've done is try to promote these bigger consoles. It's a problem when all you've tried to do is try to, let's be honest here, kill the original, these consoles mid-cycle and get people to buy the new stuff. It's a problem. They're not harnessing the power that they need to. And if you don't need any more proof of that, that was right there. Come on. Come on. Don't fall for this. Until companies like EA or, whoever, who have praised, the such awesome power of the PS4 and the new Xbox Scorpio or whatever, the Nintendo NX, and mind you, EA was like, yeah, Nintendo NX deserves a shot. You going to support it? We're not sure yet. Yeah. Come on. Look at it for what it is. Just be very smart when you decide to buy these consoles. If you decide you want to upgrade, be very smart. See what's going on. Now, granted, I'm sure we're going to disagree about what I said about season passes or DLC or microtransactions. I'm sure we can agree to disagree because, look, people want things that are in demand. But if you haven't seen the history of how things have gone, how it's escalated, now all of a sudden it's costing you because there was a report not too long ago that the updates, or was it patches for the PS4 updates, all right, we're going to cost you. They're going to charge you for that. Then we saw people say, no, they're not going to charge you for it. So we're not even sure what they're going to do just yet. We're not sure yet. But it seems like companies are rushing, and you're giving into these developers who want more and more and more, but once again, they're not even maximizing the potential of what they already have. And they just want you to eat it up. They want you to pay for it, and they're going to keep nickel and diming you until they get what they want. Because if they keep promoting, because let's be honest here, how many times have we seen already where you have, you find out how much a game costs to make. And then you see the advertising dollars, which it costs twice amount for the advertising as opposed to what they could have put in the game. And let gamers have word of mouth. We've seen this with Call of Duty. We've seen this with Medal of Honor. We've seen this with Battlefield. It's mostly for first-person shooters we see. But as we've seen also in the past, from, if you haven't realized, 2009 on, I don't know what happened in 2009. That wave came in with these shareholders that even games that really don't have a big AAA following, what do they do? Everybody wants Call of Duty numbers. Everybody wants that. And as you know, certain games that don't get that, we just got to get rid of those. That's not how it works. And then we saw that people were following patterns. Did we not? We saw that. And then every game almost becomes a carbon copy of themselves because everybody wants that money. It's kind of sad to see that. It is. Because, let's be honest here, as gamers, we look for different types of games. We look, one day, okay, maybe you want to pick up a gun and shoot a bunch of zombies, you know what I mean? Then maybe a half hour later, you want to have a sword, you want to fight against a ninja or something. We like variety. We do. Anyone who's known for just playing one game, that's not really much of a gamer now, is it? You have to be more open to the worlds that they create. But then when you see, okay, well, we're going to give you this world, okay, well, we're going to charge you X amount of dollars for it. Okay, the initial one, okay, that's fine. I'm for that. Oh yeah, by the way, we're going to charge you, a couple $20 here for a season pass or a second season pass or a third season pass. Just not too long ago, it was reported that Battlefield 1, to get everything for Battlefield 1 will cost you, was it $220 or something like that? It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. For one game. Ridiculous. Like I said, just be very mindful of what you buy. Okay? Can you please do that? And really, stop falling into the hype of what these guys are selling. See it for what it is. Anyways, I'll be checking the comment section, and of course, I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure a lot of you won't disagree, but hey, it's all part of the process, right? Anyways, I'm done. I will talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. Go play some games. Go have fun. Till then, I'm out.